We're just doing a practice test here for the Skychi Travel Guide Live online radio show. And I have Addy in the Google Hangout, and we're just doing a test before we go into the live broadcast, which will be in about 8 minutes. And Addy's going to be a calling guest on the show.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. Okay, so Addy, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Adedana Ashebir. I'm based in the DC metro area. I am a freelance writer who focuses on Africa, media, and tech, but I also do freelance travel writing as well, and currently writing a book about my travels in the past 8 years in 34 countries. And I'm really happy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. We're happy to have you, Addy.
Thank you, and thanks for helping me deal with all this technology.
Thank you for helping me to test it out. There are some challenges with doing a Google Hangout, but it's so worthwhile. I mean, it's great to have your own, basically, TV show. And so what we're doing is a travel show, and today we're going to be talking to Rhoda Green of Barbados, Carolinas. And she's going to share with us about some tips on traveling to Barbados for the Atlantic Impact International Youth. And Addy is also going to share some tips with us as well.
Great.
So if you are wondering how you can join in on the conversation, you can listen online to the Skychi Travel Guide Live online at Urban Broadcast Media. And so that is www.urbanbroadcastmedia.com/UBM-talk-live. And you can also call in with questions at 312-754-4333.
Wonderful.
Okay, and so you can spread the news there. And Ms. Rhoda wanted to know as well how to do that. So we are going to pause and take a break and go back into countdown mode for about another 4 minutes.
Okay, so I will be calling in from a landline and I can log off of this, correct?
Yes, you can. Thank you so much, Addy.
Okay.
We'll look forward to you calling in.
All right, thank you, Janice.
You're welcome. Thank you, Addy.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye.
UrbanBroadcastMedia.com presents UBM Talk.
My name is Coach Thomas. I am a fitness, health, and nutrition coach and member of the Illinois Governor's Council on Health and Physical Fitness. Make sure you check out Change for the Better with Coach Thomas Sunday nights from 7 to 8. Discuss topics and feature guests that will give you helpful tips and advice on how to create healthier habits that will lead to a healthy lifestyle. Make sure you check out Change for the Better with Coach Thomas, where we focus on healthy kids and healthy communities. Tune in to Change for the Better with Coach Thomas Sundays 7 to 8 p.m. only on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com.
UrbanBroadcastMedia.com Chicago and around the world where your voice is heard. This is UBM Talk.
You and your family have been affected by violent or traumatic death. You are in the grief process. I've not found a place and a way to heal. Dwelling places of time where we have set aside to provide comfort, conversation, resource, and a place of healing for those who are hurting. Well, we unmask the pain for the purpose of healing. I'm Reverend Oscar Freer, your host. Tune in Saturday afternoon from 3 to 4 o'clock at UrbanBroadcastMedia.com.
Hello, this is John Finney, your host of Another Perspective on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com. We are the voice of Black America. Join me and my guests every Saturday from 4 to 5 as we discuss the issues that impact Black America. Tune in to UBM Talk on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com. The simulcast on our video station WBON 1698. That's Another Perspective every Saturday from 4 to 5. And you can run and build back.
Hey, it's actually Diva Williams, affectionately known as the Diva MD. And I'm excited to bring to you the Diva MD show every Friday night at 8 p.m. Here's a chance for us ladies to let our hair down, discuss topics important to us. Health, love, family, fashion, you name it. My fellow divas, you'll have a chance to call in to get your medical questions answered and join in the discussion. Join me every Friday night at 8 p.m. for Girl Talk.
Hi, I'm Harold Arnold, real estate broker. Are you planning to buy or sell a home or another type of real estate in the near future? Join me on my first-time buyer, investor, or seller, or you want more information on the status of today's real estate? Let's talk about it Sunday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. on Urban Broadcast Media.
All of the shows being programmed and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries. Thank you for listening to UBM Talk.
Hi, this is Janice. Welcome to the Skychi Travel Guide Live. I'm your host. Every Travel Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. Let me share with you a little bit about who I am. I'm Skychi Travels because I love to fly in the sky, and I'm from Chi-Town, Chicago. My most recent career was as a flight attendant for 7 years at a regional carrier where I flew across the United States, Canada, and the Bahamas. I am also a travel blogger. I've been blogging about my travels, and I have invited one of my travel blogger friends to join us. Her name is Addy. She'll join us a little bit later. So we are going to share with you flight tales, flying insider secrets, and flying hot topics. I lived as an expat for 6 years with my family in France, Belgium, Venezuela, Argentina, and Turkey. I met my ex in Paris, and we had a whirlwind romance in the city of love. My ex was a professional basketball player, international basketball player, whose career we followed him around like a bouncing basketball from country to country. 2 of our offspring were born overseas. One was born in Belgium, and the other was born in Turkey out of the 4. If you'd like to follow me, go to the Skychi Travel Guide on Facebook, and also subscribe to the blog, the Skychi Travel Guide. Now let's get started with our program. We are talking today about Atlantic Impact. So Atlantic Impact is basically a youth organization. It's a non-profit, and it provides at-risk youth with year-round programming so that they can better understand their communities. It's a 3-year program. They begin with teaching the students history, and then they take them out of their communities and take them on local field trips in Detroit, which is where the organization is based. And then the third phase is an international trip abroad where they're going to Barbados. So our guest caller on the line is Rhoda Green, and she will be accompanying the students to Barbados in August. And if you'd like to donate to the charity, you can go to crowdrise.com, the Skychi travel guide /fundraiser/Janice Temple to donate to help send the students to Barbados. So, Rhoda, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you back. We had Rhoda on last week when we talked to the students from Detroit from Atlantic Impact, and we're happy to have Rhoda back again. Rhoda is the founder and chair of development committee for Barbados and Carolinas Legacy Foundation. So Rhoda, tell us a little bit more about your organization.
First, thanks for having me. A bit about the Carolinas Foundation.
Hold on, Rhoda. Hold on, Rhoda. Are you listening to the radio in the background?
No?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Historians have told us that a big connection between Barbados and the Carolinas. I expect that when I moved to South Carolina with my family, I saw so many that reminded me of Barbados, and people reminded me of Barbados, and it got to this situation that indicated there was this tremendous link. I moved to Boston in 1978 from New York. My family went to New York, and seeing so many things that reminded me of kind of piqued my interest. I got involved looking at all of those similarities and find out how about the end result that I felt it was necessary to have something in place where we could also connect history. Because I discovered there was so much that we only scholars or were interested in, but I felt that this ordinary person would be something that really excites many people. So, yes.
Okay, Rhoda. So,
And we focus on the historical linkages connected with Barbados. We share our findings.
great, Rhoda. So tell us a little bit about your role as an honorary consul for Barbados. What do you do specifically in that role?
As honorary consul, I work under the umbrella of the Consulate General Office of Miami. This office in Miami pretty much is the southeast state. Barbados, this is somewhat of a arm of the diplomatic, have the embassy in Washington, and we have consulate offices throughout the country, and we also have honorary consuls who we do the type of things that one would go to consulate office, let's say, for passport transpires, if you want to do one, contact the consulate office. If Barbadian resident or a Barbadian finds him or herself in a problem and they need assistance, they would come to the consul.
Okay, great, great.
And give guidance that is required. So here an extension, the consulate or the Miami serve in space where there is not an embassy or consulate facilitate and to make those sorts of services available to individuals when needed.
Okay, so let's move on to some travel tips for the students that are traveling with Atlantic Impact to Barbados. The students wanted to know what they should wear for fashion. So what do young people who live in Barbados wear? They want to fit in when they go. So are jeans okay? Gym shoes okay? What do young people wear in Barbados?
They have been shown young people in Barbados is influenced very strongly by America. So they keep up terms of fashion. Barbados is hot, so you would need summer clothes. Cotton things that breathe would be great. You don't want woolen clothes or you don't want long sleeves. You want comfortable clothes, short skirts. It may be a bit hot for me, but you probably can wear it in the evening and be okay.
Okay.
You would wear here in the States summer. That's what you would wear in Barbados.
Okay.
One thing is that Barbados is a little bit conservative, so they a little bit more conservative.
Okay, conservative, so nothing too revealing. No too short shorts or too short skirts or showing cleavage. Is that what you're referring to? Back saggy pants?
So, and you would think the same types of things that you wear here.
Okay. Okay. Not to the extreme. Okay. And so Barbados is fairly close to the equator, is that correct?
It's more probably it's close to the equator than, uh, let's say, Florida, but it is island just out of the Atlantic, and you have the benefit of the trade winds and the breezes because the land mass is relatively small. Heats up, but it cools down just quickly.
Okay.
The hot during the day, at night it will become because of the breezes coming over the ocean and the Atlantic Sea, the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, that have a cooling down.
Okay. And how can the students communicate with their family at home from Barbados? What's the best method, the cheapest method, I should say? If they're bringing their cell phones, what's the best way for them to do that?
I know that the Magic Jack is a pretty popular site. If you have Magic Jack, you would be able to communicate very cheap.
How does the Magic Jack work in Barbados? I'm not familiar with it.
Yes.
How does it work in Barbados? How do you use the Magic Jack?
That technology got started here in the United States, and so you would have a number, an area code. You would just dial it without any problem. It has been used a lot. Barbadians who live here and who go back to Barbados regularly, or who they provide that service for their relatives in Barbados so that they can communicate rather cheap.
Oh, fantastic.
Thing is, I think if you have your little pads or what have you, you can Skype. That is another cheap way. If you use phones or the landline in Barbados, that would be expensive. So you don't want to do that. Some people get the calling card, and you can call
Okay, calling cards.
that quickly if you have a SIM card.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the money in Barbados. What is it called?
Oh, it's just Barbados. It has its own currency. The exchange rate is for every $1 American, $2 million. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio.
A 2-to-1 ratio?
Yeah.
Okay. So the dollar is less there, is that what you're saying? 2 Barbadian dollars are equivalent to 1 US dollar? Oh, you get 2 in exchange. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Um, so I see we have Addy calling in. Let's have Addy join the conversation with Miss Rhoda. If you're just tuning in, this is the Skychi Travel Guide Live, and we are talking about Atlantic Impact youth students traveling to Barbados. Miss Rhoda, who we just had a conversation with, she gave us a few tips. She will be traveling with the students to Barbados. And now we have Addy joining us on the line. And Addy is a freelance writer based in Washington, D.C. She's traveled to 34 countries in the past 8 years, and she's currently writing a memoir about the good, the bad, and the funny moments of traveling solo while young, female, and black. And Addy is also a freelance writer for the Huffington Post. So Addy, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you on the line. And Miss Rhoda's on the line with us as well. Miss Rhoda is from Barbados Carolinas organization. Yes. So Addy, we were just talking a little bit about travel tips for the students traveling to Barbados. And since you've traveled to 34 countries, how did you communicate with your family while traveling abroad?
Well, it was a little different. So I had my parents called me in my dorm room every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock my time. And I knew that was always going to happen, and I was really ready to kind of schedule because my life is pretty routine. But when I'm on the road, if I'm on a road trip, it's kind of up in the air, I take the responsibility of emailing back to back.
Okay, okay. And so Addy, what type of clothes do you wear on a plane when you're traveling? How do you pack for that?
Like, I always bring socks in my carry-on because I find that I'm often cold on the plane.
Yes.
So that's something for me, because I'm wearing flip-flops or something to be comfortable on the plane. I try to have it on for something more. You don't want to get sick if you're by the time you land. So try to protect yourself.
Okay. And Ms. Rhoda, what do you suggest that the students wear on the plane? What type of clothes that they should pack to wear on the plane? Is Ms. Rhoda still there?
You have a second layer, maybe or something that even you wear sleeveless, have a second layer that you can put on. Sometimes you need to get a blanket or something while you're on the plane. But to me, second layer with long sleeves, it could be cotton, it could be something that take off, then you get plain. That's good style.
Okay. Okay. So thanks for that advice, Ms. Rhoda. And Addy?
They're not as kind about blankets as they used to be. So have a scarf or something. Usually if it's a long international flight, if you're flying to New York, let's say, to Moscow or to Beijing, you'll get a blanket, but short flight, I must go to Greece because you don't get that much anymore.
Yes, yes. They have cut back on blankets. We used to like sell them on our regional carrier, but they took that away. It's best to bring your own blanket. If you're cold all the time, you should bring a travel blanket. But most U.S. airlines don't offer blankets unless you're in first class or business class. So, yeah, a sweater or a wrap or something would be best because planes can be cold. That is for sure. And so, Addy, in hot climates like tell us like what the routine is like. For example, what countries did you visit where it was very, very hot? I know you mentioned China.
Yeah, China was pretty hot. I remember, and that was humid and hot. Thankfully, I'm from the DC area, so I'm comfortable with some humidity, or at least I can tolerate it.
Okay, okay.
I think other things that were really hot. I was in the Middle East. I was in the Emirates, about to be back, and I was in Asia to Oman, and that was, it was actually, it wasn't so bad. It was hot. There was a nice party, and got a little bit hot, but I think when you're in Asia, you're in DC all the time. You're going from a taxi to a mall to a restaurant, so that climate actually very much shielded from it.
Oh, that brings up a good question. Miss Rhoda, is there a lot of air conditioning in Barbados or is it more open air?
You usually get the natural air. There's probably times and modes because of things like that. As an average, just be in the 80s, somewhere in the 80s, rarely does it get, the 90s or anything like that. The further closer you get to near being a little bit hotter than the direct sun, but the earth is freezing. So freezing really cool down the temperature a lot.
Okay.
In terms of 80s, home in the 80s, the high to low 80s, I don't give you some indication as to what the temperature wants to buy.
And what are some great hairstyles for women for hot weather, Addie?
Admittedly, I'm probably the worst person to talk to about hair. Anything to get it out of my face is generally what I do. So, like my man, or I have wraps, trying to get them out of my eyes.
Okay.
Or I'll put it in my or if it's really nice and I'm not going to get sick, I'll just wash it and go.
Okay.
Which, depending on, I guess, what secondary you have, may or may not be the best option, but
Okay.
I'm very lazy when it comes to my hair.
Hey, you're there to have fun, not concentrate on your hair. So, and Miss Rhoda, Miss Rhoda, so what hairstyles are great for to wear in Barbados for hot weather?
Well, I'll tell you that there is a very, very vibrant, centric approach to doing letting your hair all dress up. So, braid, full hairstyle. I would suggest that if you would use the water, simply you need to get moisturizer because the seawater and then because you need moisture in your hair. But very similar to the hair collection you have here, you actually use this hairstyle with the corn roll, braiding type of thing. That is thing that is very, very so that in Barbados we allow that. So, you do what you do here with your hair, depending on how you like it and what is easily managed for you.
Okay, thank you for those tips, Miss Rhoda. And if you're just tuning in to the Skychi Travel Guide Live, our topic today is Atlantic Impact Youth traveling abroad to Barbados, and we're just giving them some tips. So our guests on the line today are Rhoda Green of Barbados Barbados and Carolinas Foundation, and Addy she's a travel blogger and freelance travel writer with the Huffington Post. And so we're just discussing what one can do as you're traveling, just some traveling tips. And I want to give a little bit more information about the Atlantic Impact. So they are a not-for-profit. They're based in Detroit, Michigan, and they are working with students in a high school, Denby High School. They will be taking them to Barbados in August of this year, and these students are so-called from disadvantaged backgrounds. They receive free or reduced price meals at school because they come from low-income households. The students attend schools that are bottom 5% of the lowest performing schools in the state, and they come from neighborhoods that have been deemed the most dangerous in the country by the FBI. When polled, most of the students had known someone who had been shot with a gun. And so the state, excuse me, there seems to be feedback in the background. Can you mute their mics for me for 1 minute? Thank you. So when polled, each of the students knew someone who had been shot with a gun. The state of their neighborhoods make life exceedingly difficult for students and consequently has had an adverse effect on their academic performance. The students traveling to Barbados are high school sophomores from Detroit. So the work is so important because youth in the inner city have been given a bad reputation. They are bright individuals, but they are not given the opportunities to fully flourish as individuals because they lack the opportunities and environment to do so. As a result, they are often not able to reach their full potential. So the primary goal of Atlantic Impact is to empower students to become 21st century college-ready learners with the ability to excel beyond their current situations. So the goal of the Atlantic Impact is to first teach the students their history. Then the second phase is they take them out of their community and they just introduce them to local culture in Detroit. And then the third phase is an international trip. Last year they took a group of students to England. This year they're taking the students to Barbados. And they're going to go and learn about the history. And Miss Rhoda Green is going to go with them to Barbados, and she will be explaining the ties of the Carolinas and Barbados to the students, as well as the Barbados history to the students. And this trip is going to expand their minds because basically when you're looking at a history book or looking at a map, you don't really get to experience travel. It's like condensed in a book, but when you travel, you live the experience. So we are going to return in a few minutes talking to Addy and to Rhoda Green. We're going to take a break, and then we will be back with a message from Nicole Brewer, who is in Germany, and she is a former Detroiter, and she's a travel blogger and a student who is living in Germany. So she has a YouTube message that she wants to send to the students, and then we'll be back to talk to Miss Rhoda Green and to Addy. This is UBM Talk on urbanbroadcastmedia.com. If you're listening online, you can join in the conversation and call us at 312-754-4333. Download the Free Streams radio app and search for UBM Talk to connect on your phone. So I am Janice Skychi Travels of the Skychi Travel Guide, and we're here every Travel Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. Today we are talking about Atlantic Impact Youth Travel. And so some of the conversations that we have had with our guests on air have been with Ms. Rhoda Green from Barbados and Carolinas organization. She will be traveling with the students to Barbados in August. Rhoda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. We're so happy to have you on the phone today, Rhoda. So, yes. I went on your website and I noticed on the Barbados and Carolinas Legacy Foundation website that you had a link about Creole links. So tell the audience a little bit about that.
Okay, just let me make one chart. I would see it. Actually, I was scheduled to be there on another engagement. Because it's going to be the same period when I'm going to be there to make myself available. So I won't be them while I'm in Barbados. Link up with them, of showing them around and getting them familiar with Barbados.
Okay, so you'll be there. Okay, so you'll be there on another engagement, but you're going to connect with them.
I will try some time to coincide so that they will be at the same time.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Now, as far as the Creole link I provided to visit our website and our Facebook page, the history of Barbados is an interesting one. Even though it was settled with by the English, Haitian systems through there very early when British colonists found that sugar would be the product that would bring them wealth. And so you had a plantation society, and plantation owners had numbers of people brought from West Africa. The Creole emerged when you had plantation owners in relationships with enslaved people or enslaved women.
Yes.
An offspring that they call Creole. The link talks about that occurrence, which became pretty widespread in Barbados and spread to other British colonies. From Barbados into the Carolinas, the practice continued. So you had groups of people born in Barbados called mulattoes, those that were bothered by owners. The other important part of that story is that all of the kids born to these unions necessarily because of race. It's indicating that some, or on some occasions, or on some instances, there's some sort of genuine love between the plantation owner and the enslaved person.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the love child, because most slave history is more about rape and hatred, and I mean there is rarely any talk about love in slavery. So this is the first.
And that is the interesting current or what occurred in Barbados. On those occasions, came into the picture, he would find that the plantation owner owned the kids, carried the name plantation owner. And what they did, sometimes family members, aunts, uncles, grandparents, would include them in their will. So some of these mulatto kids, or biracial kids we call them today, they would receive part of the plantation. They would receive, things from their ancestors. They would receive land. They would have some money or some benefits to them. And it was interesting that they were viewed differently than the slave population. So some were hierarchy, they received or accepted the higher level than the enslaved person.
Okay.
This group, decolored, which if your parents or your patient owner gave you your freedom, then you occupy different space in the societal structure. Interestingly enough, it was from this group of mulattoes or biracial kids, the children of so-called love child or love children. They were the ones who, identified with the plight of the Asian population, and they're the ones who became scholars and studied. They rose up as the defender or the people who would, look for the disadvantaged and the underprivileged. So they became the politicians and the people who actually started making inroads into the power structure.
That is interesting that they would take on the role and start defending the slaves and fight for them. So.
Some of them did, but others, they married after a while, pretty much the identity or the appearance of white, and they distanced themselves from that history. They put it in the background. They did not embrace it. Within relations, they identified fully people of the European descent. And it's only in recent times that people started to do in their genealogy. Many of them ended up in the Carolinas and far up north as New York and Boston. Had many of those colored or call them slaves, freedmen, came and they distanced themselves. They forgot about their past.
So you had both sides of the spectrum.
And from face to face, black to their family, African descent to their family. Now they have to kind of digest that and work through that because the stories weren't accurate. Nobody told them that there was this situation in their family.
Okay.
It created an interesting situation for genealogists as they're looking, and many of them have to go to Barbados. They started off from England, from Africa. Then it became the place where they launched the Americas, and they had to go back to Barbados records.
That is amazing. I love genealogy. I never considered that the Caribbean would be a place to go and research genealogy, and Barbados in particular. I mean, I don't think that most African Americans even know about the link.
And that is part of what the foundation is doing, because we have historians' stories they pointed to Barbados, and they point to Barbados for some of the negatives. The plantation system was born here, but they very brought to the Carolinas, then moved out to throughout the South. Beyond that is when people moved, and the plantation owners or the British colonizers, they brought enslaved people. Then there was also that happened about the native Indians. There were native Indians who were kidnapped from here by the British, taken to Barbados and the Caribbean Islands. So there is that people connection that people don't know. That's part of the history that needs to be told because it shows our connectivity and our connectedness. And in terms of understanding their background, they need to that information.
Okay.
It's a vital part of who they are.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rhoda. Thank you for sharing that information with us. If you're just joining us, this is the Skychi Travel Guide Live, and we are talking with Ms. Rhoda Green from Barbados and Carolinas Legacy Foundation in regards to the Atlantic Impact Youth International trip. There will be a group of students going to Barbados. Ms. Rhoda will just happen to be there at the same time and connect with those students. So we are going to now hear a recorded message from travel blogger Nicole Brewer, who is living in Germany, who is actually from Detroit. So she recorded a message on for the students.
Greetings, Detroit Atlantic Impact students. My name is Nicole, and I am actually a fellow Detroiter like yourself. Born and raised on the east side. I am a graduate of Kenneth.
So this is 20 minutes. You're going to give me the cue when you want me to, you going to run the whole thing, or, because it's 20 minutes long.
This is 20 minutes?
Yeah. It's 20. So maybe you want to run maybe 10 minutes of it, then we'll cut it?
10.
Okay. So you're going to run 10 of it, 10 minutes of it? Okay.
My first time traveling abroad was actually to go to Japan to visit a couple of my friends that were teaching English there. And then this sparked my curiosity and my passion for Globe Trotter travel. I actually am a travel blogger for a website called I Love LUB, the number 2, and Globe Trotter. That's what I like to do. As well as we have an online Facebook community that me and my business partner started while we were teaching English in South Korea. So, like I said, my first time traveling abroad to Japan to visit my friends that were teachers, that inspired me to decide to do the same later on in life after living in Chicago. So, I want to give you guys a couple travel tips for your awesome trip to Barbados pretty soon. If I travel, I've learned to try to pack light and to keep it as simple as possible. So I am a firm believer of my hiking backpack is awesome. What I tend to do with my clothing items is roll them up to save as much space as possible. And you're going to be gone for a week. Try to switch it up, girls. Take a cute dress, a pair of sandals. But just try to pack as light as possible. You don't need very much. You're going to be at the beach having a good time. And, just a couple cute little dresses, a pair of shorts, a sandal, and a flip flop. In the hospital, you're decorated. But yeah, try to pack light as well as having small toiletries to be able to bring in your carry-on bag. As well as packing light, I'll say you have to bring your positive attitude. I think the energy that you put out is what you get back in. So you go there, be positive, definitely be confident where your surroundings and where you're trained. We're from the D, so we can definitely handle any situation. That's one of my life mottos. So definitely don't be afraid. People are all different and unique, but all bring our personalities to the table. So just be confident. your eyes to so many possibilities. That's why I'm so impressed with what you're doing. Being courageous enough at a young age to go abroad and experience different people and different cultures. So definitely keep that fire and that passion. Travel is going to open so many doors for you. Like myself, you can definitely do it as an trainer. You're making moves. So I'm very proud of what you guys are doing. After I finish up in Germany the end of June, I'm here for 10 months. I'm actually getting ready to relocate this summer to Cape Town, South Africa, to do a research fellowship with the University of Western Cape for my thesis. So, there's possibilities, there's opportunities out there. If you have a passion for travel, you can make it happen. You can teach abroad, you can study abroad. Just put your apples in place, put them in line, so you can do that. And on a final note, I wanted to mention to you guys, I saw your fabulous program that you have with having Globetrotters and people like and stars in their travels. And early this year in January, actually, I started along with my partner Renee, I love the Globetrotter Pen Pal program, and I've been trying to pair up Globetrotters that's in our online travel community on Facebook, over 1,500 members, with teachers from other countries. So what I would love to do is to reach out to the Globetrotter community and have them send, the students in Atlanta Impact postcards from around the globe. So I'm definitely going to, try to head up that initiative, and I'll be very happy to be a part of that with you guys. So, like I said before, check me out. The travel blog is called I Love LUB, the number 2, and globetrotters.com, because that's what we like to do, we're Globetrotters. For you Globetrotters, check us out. Enjoy the Facebook community so you can meet people around and networking, because networking is also very important to be able to have future friends. You can visit the Philippines and Italy and different countries like my friends I've made studying abroad here in Germany. So enjoy Barbados. I hope if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email from the blog. And have a safe journeys. All right, and I think that's to enjoy. As we say in Germany, cheers.
So we just heard a video. So we just heard a message from Nicole Brewer of I Love to Go Globetrot, and her message was to the Atlantic Impact youth students who are preparing to go on an international trip to Barbados. And we're winding down our show now, so I want to share a funny travel tale with you. I had went with my daughter to Cancun, Mexico, and we signed up to go snorkeling on a boat, and it was in the Atlantic and the Caribbean. So we get out into the middle of the water, into the middle of the oceans, and I had been snorkeling before, but it was off the beach, which was sandy. And so I thought, okay, it was going to be something similar to that. No, we jumped into the water. And then once we're in the water, the guide, he says, well, we're going to swim over there. I'm used to swimming in a swimming pool. Swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, nothing below me, was quite a different experience, I would say, and for my daughter as well. And then you have the marine life swimming around you. So there were fish, and she couldn't handle the fish. She ended up jumping on my back, and I mean, oh my God. So when you envision snorkeling or snoobing, it's one thing to go to a local pool and get in the water, but to get in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, that was a whole nother thing. So the guide, I mean, he ended up dragging us to the rock, which was probably about a mile or 2 away. I had never swam that far in my life. So you see things on TV and you say, okay, I would love to do that. But then once you're in the situation, you're like, oh my God. But you have to be adventurous. You have to try things. I mean, I would definitely try snorkeling again. I think I would just prefer to do it off of a sandy beach and start out slowly. So that is my funny travel tales. So if you want to share one, you're welcome to call in to 312-754-4333. And now for Insider Secrets travel tips. So when you're going to the airport, and sometimes you're traveling internationally, and sometimes they have free upgrades. For example, the flight may be overbooked, and so how they determine that they're going to pass out those free upgrades to coach passengers, what they do is they first go to frequent flyers, so the executive platinums, the platinums, they're chosen first. Then they go to those who have Y fares, which are refundable tickets, full fare tickets. Then they start looking at how you are dressed. So if you are wearing, really skimpy clothes or saggy pants or just bummy looking, you're not going to get chosen. That is an insider tip. So how you dress makes a difference. You should be covered. Women should, not have like cleavage out or short skirts or booty shorts. You should be conservative in your dress in order to score a free upgrade. And so a good tip is to wear a light wrap or a sweater or take a change of clothes so that when you get to your destination, you can change into, I guess, more cooler clothes. I'll put it that way. And so now we're going to wrap up the show with Addy and Miss Rhoda Green. This is the Skychi Travel Guide Live, and we have been talking about the Atlantic Impact International students. So, Miss Rhoda, do you have any tips on what they should pack in their carry-on bags for the students?
If they have medicine, things like that, be sure to have that with you. One of the things I would remind them that fatigue is something that the Barbados Defense Force, that's their uniform, so you shy away from fatigue, any sort. Remember that. Your deodorants or your toiletries, that you should. You also have to remember that sometimes they don't allow you a large amount of anything. There's a bag that and your toiletries or something that you can take on with you into that. So all amounts.
Yes, the travel size, the 3 ounces or less.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rhoda. And Addy, do you have anything that you want to add to what they should pack in their carry-on bags for the students?
Brush and travel bag in case sometimes you have your toiletries in your check bag, like your floss, and so I just have that. And also, I feel like I need to do that right after I get on the flight. And try to also a book to read or something to occupy your time, talk or puzzle, whatever it is that you like to do when you have some downtime. Your iPod, something to entertain yourself. Especially, I think keeping with the discussion of things that aren't offered as much anymore, like blankets. Sometimes flight entertainment is slowly disappearing as well. So keeping yourself busy, and that probably shouldn't be a problem because you'll be your classmates, but you find that you just want to spend your time on the flight. Excuse me.
Oh, those are some great tips. Okay, those are some great tips. So thank you for that, Addy and Miss Rhoda. And I want to give a shout out to Rosalind Cummings-Yeats. She was on last week, and she's the author of a book called Exploring Chicago Blues. It's really a travel guide for Chicago. and she will be on the Today Show on Friday for the kickoff of the Chicago Blues Festival. So check her out on the Today Show, and also pick up her book, Exploring Chicago Blues, as well. And I also wanted to mention that there are some contests. I happen to be a Google City expert, and basically I write reviews for Google, and they have a couple of contests. So if you're in Chicago, Washington, D.C., various cities, you can win a $500 gift certificate to Jet Setter by sharing your hotel reviews on Google City Experts. So you go to www.google.com/local/contest to enter in. And I want to thank Ms. Rhoda and Addy for joining us. This has been the Skychi Travel Guide Online. You can join us every Travel Tuesday at 1 p.m. for travel tips on flying, hot topics, and we will see you next Travel Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.